Archispeak is brought to you by Arcat, and the time has come for your firm to begin gathering product and material information for your next project. Let's say you're tasked with finding the top gas fireplace manufacturers, and they need to have CAD, BIM, and specifications.
Wouldn't it be nice if there was a search engine that showed you who has the data you need? There is, and it's arcat.com. Search for a product or even a CSI section and get a list of North American manufacturers and the data they offer.
And even better, you can download all technical data for free. You don't even have to register to use Arcat. Save your firm time and money and frustration. Go to arcat.com. That's ARCAT.com.
And this episode of the podcast is sponsored by BQE Core, the award-winning cloud project accounting platform made for you, architects. Core combines time and expense tracking, billing, project management, and accounting in one streamlined platform. With Core, you'll increase efficiency, win more projects, and find some time to relax. What? Make work easy with Core and get a 15-day trial by going to bqe.com/core.
Plus, look at our show notes for a free ebook from BQE, 10 Fatal Project Management Mistakes and How to Prevent Them. It'll give you a straightforward fixes to common problems so you can keep your projects on budget and on schedule.
And thanks to BQE Core for sponsoring this episode of Archispeak.
Welcome to Archispeak, the podcast that talks about what it's like to work in the profession of architecture.
Welcome to episode 137 of the Archispeak podcast. I'm Neil Pan.
I'm Evan Troxel.
And I'm Cormac Phelan.
And hey, to get us started on this episode, Evan wants to give us a little bit of updates on things you shouldn't do as a student for our student listeners.
Yeah, I've got some updates for this. So I just gave my final yesterday, and quarter's over. Went by really fast. And I just wanted to give you guys a couple funny stories of interactions that I've had with students over the last couple of weeks. So I was going to class the other day, a few weeks ago, and a student stops me on the way into the classroom, like right out front, and they say, "So I just wanted to talk to you about my attendance. I've been here every day, but I don't always get the sign-in sheet, and so I wanted to know how you keep track of attendance." And I'm kind of like lost for words.
Do I tell him? Do I not?
I say, you sign the sign-in sheet. Like what other answer is there? And then he's like, yeah, so he just did not get it. And so I'm like, well, what's your name? And he tells me his name. And so I'm like, well, I'll check, but there's a lot of students in this class. I don't know everybody by their name, as you know. Like, it was just pretty funny and obvious. The other funny story was yesterday during the final. I mean, I get it. Everybody puts every class that's not studio as secondary or tertiary or whatever, right? So my class, I think a week ago, I had like 16 people show up out of the 90 because that was the day that a lot of people were doing there.
16 out of 90?
Yeah, so
For
it was
final?
No, that was for the week before the final.
The week prior. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, no, everybody, well, no, not everybody showed up. That's what my story's about. So I had a bunch of students like the day before the final start emailing me and saying, I didn't realize when the final was. I've had it on the syllabus since day one. Okay. I had it all scheduled. I've brought it up 2 or 3 times during class. Obviously, these students didn't come to class. And I'm going to be traveling the night before the final. Because my final, because it's on a Friday class, it's also the Friday of finals week. That's just the way it works. So I don't understand how these students are so disorganized and how everything completely...
You're going to make
you're going to make a great architect. I don't
you're
know
going to
when
make
the
a great
deadline
problem
is.
solver, project manager, organizer of projects. You do know what we do, right?
There are a couple important pieces of information that you need to know about this class. Number one is you need to show up and sign the sign-in sheet so that I can track your attendance. And number 2 is you need to be at the final. Oh my gosh.
So I'm guessing that Mr. I didn't, I came here every day, but I never really signed the sign-in sheet. Really wasn't there every day.
Yeah, who knows? I didn't even look. It's not something I need to go check. The numbers will speak for themselves. It's not like I'm going to email him and say, well, I see that you weren't here these days. And then he's just going to respond and say, yes, I was.
Exactly. No, I wasn't. Yes, I was. No, I wasn't.
Yeah. So, and it's not like you only get one chance to sign it. You could totally come up after the class and sign it. So it's not like it's that strict of a thing where you only get your 1 second to sign it and then it moves on. It's not like that. So I don't understand. Anyway, those are my updates for class.
Wow.
What was this class again?
Emerging technology and architecture.
Maybe maybe you're going to need to come up with a new technology of how they can sign in.
Yeah, it's not very emerging. Have you heard of this stuff? It's called paper.
Paper and pencil.
Maybe that's it. They don't understand this paper thing.
They don't. Yeah. No.
Like,
can I just like it to come in? Can I just like that post?
Yeah, exactly. Swipe left when you're here.
Well, those are my updates for class. I can give you an update on my house. So it turned out that I wasn't just allergic to what they opened up in the walls. I did get extremely sick.
Oh.
And then now we are replacing the entire kitchen.
So we set our house on fire and are rebuilding.
It went from a floor slab leak to now you have to replace everything because they had to tear open walls and repipe after they found that they couldn't repipe under the slab. And
I mean, was it black mold? I know that there was asbestos in there too, right?
No, yeah, it was just the asbestos. They had to do all the crazy abatement and talk to the AQMD. And I actually got a receipt from a asbestos graveyard, I guess. I don't know what you call it, a dump in Arizona. Where they sent it.
Thank you, Arizona, for taking care of
Arizona. Yeah, so that's where that stuff goes. Note to self: don't move to Arizona.
I was going to say, how toxic can Arizona be?
I
mean,
would assume
that and what? Where
probably Nevada, New Mexico,
Nevada, where they store all of the nuclear waste in their hills.
Yep. Yeah. So they tore out a bunch. They tore open the slab, and they basically just to say, and we knew this was coming, we can't fix it. It's old galvanized. It's got, it's like Swiss cheese down there. And so they had torn out the floor and some of the walls to do that. And then, so they patched that, and then they repiped through the attic. So they had to tear open walls to get it down to the fixtures. Mind you, this is just hot water. I didn't get my cold water replaced because that is a much bigger job. So, we save that for next time. And now we're going to put in new flooring, new cabinets, countertops. Oh my gosh, just everything now. So I spent 6 hours at the cabinet shop last Saturday.
Awesome.
Oh my gosh.
That sounds fun.
It's like buying a car. It was like being at a car dealership.
It's worse than that. Yeah, it's horrible.
It's crazy. Yeah. So that's been my extra. The project that I didn't ask for. How about that?
Did you get the soft close cabinets now, or the drawers?
Yes, of course.
You're going to love those.
Yeah, luxury.
Yes.
Nothing but the best.
So since we're talking about cabinets, I got to share this story that's like reared its ugly head for like the past 2-3 weeks.
Cormac, tell us another Revit story.
No.
Oh,
This
no,
is
not a Revit
This
story?
is a cabinet story.
Oh, a cabinet story. Okay.
So, we do labs, both wet labs, dry labs, instrument-based chemistry labs is the particular one that I'm talking about right now. And we specify full extension, quiet glide, drawer sliders.
Yeah.
And, whether people know this or not, there are, different weight criteria for the different drawer slides. And we had our project manager on the project test these in a way that's pretty much not in conformance with the test that all of the casework manufacturers are testing it too. They're, it's more of just like, he's shaking it around and stuff like that. And it's, hey, it feels flimsy. And, in a way he's got something there. But, if the only criteria you have to go off of, like whether or not the casework is built properly, is 1, through the specifications, and 2, through all of the, whether it's CIFA testing or ASTM or all of these different ANSI requirements for, the conformance of casework, right? So it's just been kind of going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, and we're really not getting anywhere. But the interesting thing about where my story is going is just how much I know about drawer slides at this point
Pass
in my
this
career.
info along. Everybody needs this.
Is something that I just never thought I was going to have, not like this. And,
oh man.
And it's pretty interesting because, it's kind of, so, you've got your full extension where the back of the drawer is fully out and you can see it. Then there's the 3/4 extension. And, 3/4 extension, they actually have a little bit more, like dimensional stability to them because they're relying on the sides of the cabinet to actually hold them from racking or turning and stuff. And then when you fully extend them, it racks a little bit and stuff like that because it's just the nature of, physics.
A cantilever.
Yes, exactly. And, I mean, my God, it's this whole, we've pulled in so many different people to talk about casework, like just one particular function of casework too. And it's just, it's interesting how people can hyper focus on like the littlest of things. And they're, it's things that you don't think about that ultimately at the end of the day, you're like, wow, wait, time out. I mean, is that now where we have to be? Is like, we literally have to hyper focus in on every little minute detail. Is it, coated ball bearings? Is it, this ball bearing? Is it that, is it all these? It's just, you're like, wow, man. No, I didn't. I put in there, it's 100-pound, capacity, or it's a 200-pound capacity, or it's this. And you hope that the manufacturer builder's right. End of the story is that, the manufacturer didn't really follow its own criteria on where to use the different drawer slides. And, they were like, the drawers were too wide for the lower capacity drawer slides. They needed to be the next size up. And they didn't do it. And even though they went ahead and replaced them at no cost, we're still getting blamed for the fact that, well, you should have known where all of this stuff was supposed to go. It's just like, wow. So the question that I was actually going to ask this, but it seemed somewhat appropriate to talk about it then. It's like, how much do you detail the minutia of things, or do you let the specifications and the testing criteria within the specifications do all of that work, and it's kind of out of sight, out of mind?
Wow. I can tell you, I've never had to detail or specify drawer slides, but I do residential mostly. So
Yeah, it should totally be the second part. You cannot be that minutia expert. You just can't.
You can't, because I mean, like, first of all, it's lab casework, and we hire lab designers to do the lab casework for us, and they're providing us the criteria based off of the industry standard of said casework. So you think, okay, that right there, they've got covered, because they've got other things to deal with, where's the gas come in? Where does, what kind of, is it, 99% pure gas? Is it this? Is it that? It's all these other things that they're dealing with.
Yep.
And I don't think they even are looking at the minutia of a drawer slide.
Right. No, they've had those specs. They recycle that stuff, right? It gets a little bit better over time when errors are pointed out or omissions or whatever, and they have to rely on that stuff.
Well, I did make comment to them because I did a lot of research of all of the different manufacturers that were indicated in the specs. And, I found a couple of errors in the specs Nothing that was kind of like, damning or anything. It was just, the industry's changed or something's been updated or stuff like that. Kind of made mention to them. I'm like, I'm pretty sure you're going to be changing your specs now. And like, yep.
Oh man.
yes, we are. And it's just, it just kind of, sorry, you were living a casework drama.
Fun things you get to do as an architect, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, wait, I don't really have the time for this because I also have to have, I'm also trying to get another project out the door by the end of the month.
Yeah.
And you know how crazy those times are.
Yeah.
Happy fun time.
Wow.
So thanks for sharing your casework trauma, because that just sparked my casework trauma.
Well, in his case, it's not trauma. In Evan's case, he's going to enjoy this because he.
When I go to install
clothes.
it, it's probably going to.
I was going to say, I don't think he was planning on changing his casework in all of his cabinets anytime soon.
Sure. Okay.
Right. This is a project I did not ask for.
Yeah, I was going to say maybe eventually he was going to do it, but not now.
Right.
Oh, it's going to be nice, but oh man,
it's
going to be some pain and blood to get there, I think.
Well, I will say that. So what you were alluding to, Neil, a little bit earlier about when I was going to say a trauma of my own is my ever ongoing saga of Revit, and an
update on the credenza.
So not a credenza anymore, but from whatever happened at that point in time, whether it be credenza or the, Revit 17.2 update that was where it all started, to now we've we've had so many problems with it. We've lost so much time. We've lost so much actual work because, say all three of us are remoting into our Revit model. We're working fine and all that other stuff. I synchronize, I get out of it. Evan synchronizes, he gets out of it. Neil, you go to synchronize and it says that you have an error and you can't synchronize.
Oh, and now you blame it on me then.
Well, other than the fact that I would blame it on you. So, and that was the thing is we would have some people who just couldn't synchronize to the central, and then, and we're like, well, we really, so we got to figure out what to do, and so then they closed out, and then when they close it out, nobody can get into the central at all. And we're like, what the hell's going on? I mean, we were just in the central, So then we try to open up our locals. Now our locals won't open up because they can't access the central.
Oh my God.
And so now nobody can get into the model. And we're all like we're trying to figure out what's going on. We've got, the BIM manager for the office. He's, trying to figure it all out. We're on the phone with Autodesk and we're looking at all of we're trying to go through all of these different recovery processes and, okay, we've got, an autosave one here at this time. Try it, corrupt, not working. Go to the next one. And we just keep going back until we can get one that actually opens. And they're like, hey, I found one that opens. Yeah. It's 2 days old. And everybody's
save as a new central file.
And so, but everybody's
2 days of work over again.
Exactly. Yeah. But here's the thing.
That's nuts.
When you have 7 people who are working on a project for 2 straight days, think about how much work is lost.
Yeah, totally.
It's a lot. Yeah, that's
a lot. And that's been kind of our pain and our issue. So, we were sitting there and I spin around and, in my pod, I spin around and I look at, one of the guys on the project. I'm like, it was like, we have the one that we just saved, a few hours ago, right? Because here now we've been, basically everybody's been trying to bird dog this problem and try to figure out, okay, well, what's the problem? Mm-hmm. So, not only have we lost potentially lost 2 days worth of work, now we're all losing work because one, we can't get into the model, and 2, everybody's trying to figure out how to do that. So they're not working. They're trying to solve the problem. Working in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
And so I spent around, I'm like, just out of curiosity, let's try to open up your last local file in 2018. He does it. Takes a while. It's got to convert. It can because of the size. It. Yeah, because of the size of the file, it's upgrading, and it's it took like 2 hours. It seemed. But it ran. Because he also, like, when he was opening it, he also put audit on there, and so that took a little bit longer, and it opens. I'm like, great. All of our work is saved. Everybody's work is there.
Yeah, but now you have to upgrade everyone to 2018.
Yeah.
You just started a whole new thing.
Exactly. So now I have to hop on the phone and call every consultant.
Yeah, right.
Even the owners and the contractors who are all using our models, and say, do you guys have 2018? Yeah. Like, all right, well, here's here's the issue. And I had to say that over and over and over again, as many times. It sounded like a broken record, but I was trying to explain to them, what was going on. And they're like, it's not a problem. We can go ahead and install 2018. Or other people are like, oh yeah, we just installed it, a couple weeks ago and haven't used it because, we've been working in 2017 on this project. Mm-hmm. Like, okay. I was like, I'm about to break the cardinal rule.
Yeah, seriously.
Never change your never go to the next.
Don't upgrade your software.
Yeah,
during a project. Yep.
And I was like, I had to, because it was either that or I mean, and I can't
7 times.
And I can't explain to you, like, so in that past 2 days, me and another guy had been working with our design assist partners, which are the contractors who are going to be doing our curtain wall and our precast concrete. And this is like, this is all precast panels, for the whole facade of the building and everything. And we've been going back and forth with them. We've been tweaking details. We've been tweaking, panel dimensions and everything else. All of that would have been lost.
Yeah.
And that was huge, because they're waiting on us to make those changes to then, redistribute the model so that they can actually start working on the shop drawings.
There's big stuff that changes, but all the little stuff is the stuff that nobody actually can quantify or keep track of, because you're taking care of stuff along the way. Oh, you see a little thing here, take care of it, and that stuff adds up, and nobody notices the amount of time it takes to do to redo all that stuff. If you had to.
And a lot of that though was like undocumented, other than on the fly in the model, because we were doing a Skype session where we were sharing the screen. We were, that we were talking through it, and they're, the detailer for the precasters were like, okay, well, what if we, cut 3 inches out of this particular precast so it's coped over this beam? Like, okay, and so we make the change.
Right.
But I mean, if you did that like on 5,000 square foot building, and you're making all these like little teeny tweaks and stuff, but you didn't actually like physically write down, panel 1, changed this, changed that, and stuff, and you just did it on the fly, to lose that, enormous.
Yeah. Guys, are we making architecture too difficult? I mean, with the
BIM is a database.
I don't know if that's the right question, but
there is a way to track all this stuff, but it's a different mindset that you have to work within, and it's not like anybody really wants to do it. But then there's times like this where it comes back, and it would be useful.
But
there's certain software that has like construction histories of things built in, so you can see every little step that went into making it how it is now.
But the question is would that work for us when our model goes completely corrupt?
Or would it even work? I mean, everything's complicated, right? Because you've got 7 people working on it, and they're working on different times, and there's so much data.
Like we're on a phone call with the precaster, and the precaster and the curtain wall guy are all on the phone together, because we're talking about the interfaces between the 2 different systems. And all the while, on another phone call, we got another guy who is doing basically another Skype session with our structural engineer, talking about a couple of different steel issues that we're trying to rectify, because, we're getting, shops and all that other stuff done. This is that project that the steel package and a couple of other package all went out to bid at 50%, and we're still trying to and we're trying to finish the drawings up as well as them doing shop drawings all at the same time. So in a way it's good because when we hit print for our, 100% construction set, and yes, I don't like using the word 100%, but you know what I'm saying. Our drawings and the shop drawings will be basically a 1-for-1 match, which that's great, but not when our drawings go bad. When drawings go bad.
When drawings go bad.
Good drawings go bad.
So is this like the modern day equivalent of spilling your coffee on your sheets of vellum?
Oh yeah.
On your desk?
Yeah, probably. That is a good analogy. Yeah, somebody posted a picture of the only time that you could lay down on the job during architecture, and they put a picture of this enormous sheet of paper and all these guys laying on the ground drawing,
right?
Drawing details and stuff like that. I was just can you just imagine if some guy got up and accidentally fell into the paper and it ripped or something like that, and all these other people who are working on the project, just get up and look at him and this is when your career ends and your life.
That's when you hand them the tape and you just tape it back together. What we used to do. Well, now the coffee one's the problem.
Your question is a good one, and I think, well, I don't know. It's one of those things where, is it worth it? Right? That's the question.
I guess maybe that's the better question.
Because we are, on some levels, it is overcomplicated, right? Because the software does more than most people use it for, and it's always been like that, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, because it's so complicated, the barrier to entry is high, so people don't spend the time to dig deeper and learn how to use the software really effectively, because it's hard, right? It's hard to find time to do that. It's hard to find the resources to do the training. People don't have the attention span. They're busy. They've got other stuff to do. And so finding the balance there is tough, especially when the software changes every single year. Like the companies are incentivized to come out with a new release every year so that your subscription fee makes sense, and so that they can justify that. And so it's this vicious cycle that just keeps on churning, and nobody wants to keep up. But at the same time, they feel like what else is their money going towards? So it's how do you actually get better at this stuff? How do you train people so that they're all on the same page? And that, I think, is where it gets back to your original question: is it worth it? Right? Because on some levels, the stuff is so complicated, but in other ways, it's incredibly valuable. Right? Ask anybody who really uses BIM if they would ever go back to CAD, and they would say no. Right, because it is so worth it. Right, it's nice to move a window in one place and have it go update everywhere else. Right, and it's also worth it to have 7 people working in the same file at the same time. It totally is.
Right.
So no, nobody would go backwards. And I think this is something that kind of plagues our industry as a whole, which is we don't want to move forward. I mean, architecture as a whole, very generally, is not innovating and not moving forward because of that attitude. While at the same time, the tools are available for us to move forward and to be innovative. And there are companies who are doing that kind of thing. I mean, we're talking about them right now. So it's this constant push and pull and attitude of, the mindset of not wanting to change, but at the same time feeling like you have to. And I think that this really is the thing that's holding back our industry, our profession, the AEC industry, and the architectural profession, because we are we're way behind as far as innovating in this. And that's why we talked about it a few episodes ago. Google and Facebook and these companies see tons of potential in our industries because they are never going to worry about how things are now. They're only looking at how things could be or would be in the future. And our attitude of trying not to adopt the newest version is the wrong attitude to have if you look at the long game of where this profession needs to go to stay competitive, to be relevant. Because if you don't, these companies are going to come in and eat your lunch. They're going to do it. Now, that doesn't mean it's going to happen equally to everybody. There are definitely small firms, one-person proprietors who are, they could still draw by hand, and they can have that and rely on it forever, right? They never even have to worry if the power's on. I mean, they could practice from anywhere. They don't have to have any knowledge of the cloud. They never need to collaborate with somebody else. There's always going to be those use cases. But when it comes to these medium and large firms that have to collaborate in these ways, I don't see how we could even have the argument that we should do it the way we used to do it. It's never going to be like that again.
Totally agree with you. And it's actually kind of I guess through this whole experience, not necessarily on the bad side of BIM going bad, but like with this design assist relationship that we've had going on more recently with our precast and curtain wall and our steel manufacturer and all that other stuff. They're all using BIM, and even the CM, they're using BIM. Or the mechanical contractors, they're using BIM. And the great thing about it is hell, even the civil contractors using BIM. And the reason I bring that one up is because the other day we just got an RFI that said, hey, we were doing our clash detection, we were going through all of this stuff, and I had just picked this up when I got the latest models and I put them all together, and I was doing a clash detection to try to figure out, where we've got a couple of different problems, specifically with all of the piping that's coming out, below grade piping that's coming out, because we're, here we are still, moving forward to getting the end of our CDs out at the end of the month, but, we're also concrete's going into the ground. And so they're doing all of the below grade piping, and come to find out we've got a pipe that's coming out through at an elevation that's basically right through one of the foundation, one of the footers. Yeah. And I caught it, and I had marked it up and sent it over to the MEP and civil to kind of coordinate it, and but the contractor caught it too before it ever went into the ground. Yep. And that I thought was great because, here now we're finally,
at the point where you can find all this stuff before it actually happens.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And that's great. And, the good thing is the MEP contractor, we're getting, tons of good RFIs from them that aren't RFIs that are going to be, stuff in the field that affects a change order, but because they're a design assist, they're looking at, okay, well, you've got all of this, you've got your, specifically, we're looking at a, crap, I'm drawing a blank on it. But anyway, we had some piping going vertically into the building, and it was clashing with a beam, and, here we are looking at the shop drawings for the beam, or for the steel, and, we're doing all of this clash detection for all of the vertical piping that's going through the building through various chases and stuff. And we're catching that, 1, before we're building it, 2, before they're engineering it, and 3, before it becomes a change order that costs the owner money. And that, I saw the great value of doing all of this stuff. And that we may be slow in the uptake on the change and innovation of this, and that is, I don't know where we go with that.
Well, but there's lots of stuff in the pro column, and there's lots of stuff in the con column, right?
But yes, and so one tick for the pro column was what I just experienced with, having the full entire team basically looking at this project at the same time, right, and picking things up, and we even used BIM to go through our value engineering. Where are some, where are we being a little, bit excessively conservative, and where are we, where can we kind of streamline some things?
I think getting back to Neil's original point too about the creation of drawings being complicated. Obviously yes. because we still live in that world where we deliver drawings,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
overcomplicates the creation of these models, because there's so many things you have to do just to make the drawings read right or look right or whatever.
Yes.
When that's just a projection of this model that everybody's spending so much time in, which, we're kind of ideally headed for the day where that's the deliverable.
And that's honestly, I've made that argument in contention the whole time. I was like, as long as we're still doing 2D drawings to build things by, this is the problem that we're going to have to face.
Well, and you said yourself that your steel shops are done off a BIM model, right? They're not 2D drawings; they're a model,
right? So, like, my well, here's actually the I guess funny thing about that is, so they're doing all of this stuff off the BIM model. They're doing the precast off of the BIM model. They're doing the mechanical off of the BIM model. But yet we're still getting a 2D drawings to basically review and stamp and mark up and return. It's just like, it's kind of defeating the purpose, because we literally just coordinated everything.
Yeah.
Over several sessions and, everything else. So, I mean, it's moving more towards, I see, it's moving more towards kind of like this, setting us up for a true design build type delivery process where you're designing and detailing and, setting all the parameters for, what a door frame is and all of these other things and where it needs to go and what the height is. And
just embedded in the item. Yeah.
Just embedded in the item. I mean, what was funny is I needed to make a new family, and I will be the first one to say that but my team will be the second one to say it, that I'm not that I'm not as versed as they are in Revit. I'm okay, I can hold my own, but there's a lot of things I don't know, because I became a project manager at the turnover from really Revit from CAD to Revit. Yeah. And so, I was doing a lot of more project manager and, kind of dealing with everybody and cat herding and everything else, that I didn't have to master drawing in Revit and modeling in Revit and stuff like that.
There's lots of architects that don't draw at all. So,
but I mean, and so, somebody came over to me and I was like, well, how do you, can you show me how to do this? And, the first time they like clicked through it so quickly, I'm like, holy crap. I'm like, first of all, I was like just in awe at how quickly they were moving through it. And then second, I was thinking, well, why don't you work that fast normally? Then third, I was thinking, there's so much valuable information in just that element when we get to the point, like,
well, we're really being held up by the agency, right? It's the agency review.
Yes. Yeah. Like,
that's
literally
who the drawings are for.
That, exactly. And that I think is going to be, because,
well, if you want to get even bigger and kind of blow your mind here, if you look at overall, the owner wants a building, right? And we've talked about this before, right? The contractor delivers the building. They really look at what the architect does as a waste. It's a waste of, they don't understand why the process is important. They don't, and I'm speaking generally. Obviously, there are lots of clients out there who get it, but what we offer is a process, and it is something that architects in the profession need to look at in a very serious way of how can we add value and sell toward that value, which is in our ideas, in our problem solving, and in our design. We will never outdraft the contractor. Look at the contractors that you're talking about. They're building their own BIM models because, number one, they don't trust ours. Number two, they're going to build from it, right?
Right.
And so why do we even do that? Everybody can do drawings. This is not something that we need to be really good at anymore. Totally. And I know that makes some people's ears bleed when they hear that kind of thing. But in the day and age of technology, we need to be on the same page and be it's like we need to be a complementary team member instead of all of this overlapping work that everybody does.
Well, I'll give you a good example of that is that, I had all these sheets set up, cartooned out for basically panel elevations of all of the different, precast panels that we're putting up. And we were talking about, like, do we really need these? I was like, do we really need these? Because we just got his shop drawings. And he basically did a much better job of doing exactly what I had already laid out anyway.
Yep.
And so it's just, I would much rather somebody... Exactly. I was like, there are other things that we need to detail. There's some intersections, we can work out. Like, the one thing that they don't do, and most people don't really do, is like, what are all these intersections? What are all these flashing details? What keeps the water out? What keeps the hot air in? Those kind of things. Mm-hmm. Most people don't really think about that. And so, for in the technical aspect of things, we're doing those. We've got the big idea, we've got the design, we've got we've coordinated all of the minutia within it. We've got the our steel guys, they've created the skeleton. Now we've created another guy who just created all of the skin, and another guy created like the way to look out of it, and we've got another guy doing this, but they're all doing it. So why are we doing it?
Yeah, it's interesting, right? Because CAD leveled the drawing field, right?
Yes.
So it was one of those things where now anybody can make a beautiful drawing. And you might say, well, my drawings are more beautiful. Okay, fine. Your drawings are more beautiful. The person who actually built from them doesn't care. And then number two, SketchUp leveled the modeling field, right?
Yeah.
Anybody can build a model. It's free. You can do it in your web browser now. And there's a huge library of pre-built models out there that you can assemble, and you just need to know a little bit to scratch by. And so again, we shouldn't be fighting the battle of who can draw the best or who can model the best, because somebody will always do it for less. Always.
Right.
They can outsource it, and we all know that there's problems with that. You could outsource your whole BIM modeling program to some third world country, and they can build a model for you, and it'll suck, but there are still people who will do that, and they'll get burned by it, and then they'll just get back to, well, I've got to draw all this myself, and they get back into the mindset of, I've got to control every single line on the page. And maybe you do, but maybe you don't have to draw it to do it.
Right.
So I don't know where I can see where we're headed, but man, there are so many boat anchors out there holding us down. And that's the hard part. It's convincing and moving forward with agency review and getting to the point. And it's slowly getting there. It's a big ship. It takes a long time to turn, but it is headed in that direction.
Don't worry, Evan. I'll retire soon, and then one less boat anchor.
Neil, I can't tell you how many times it's just like, oh man, we just got to wait for this person to die.
It's just like,
for that person to die. Yeah, it sounds terrible, but
yeah, it's just like, once this person's out of the way, things will get so much better.
That's what we.
I hate to say it. Unfortunately, in our current climate right now, there are. That could be.
Now. Well, it's funny because this came up. I was talking to my wife, and I'm like, "What? When? Because we're mid-career, right? When we get there, are we going to be like that too?" And my wife says, "Nope, you're not going to be like that, but someone else is." Right?
Yeah, exactly. So there's the innovators and the trailblazers, and then there's the guys who just are refusing to, I'm going to hold on to these old ways. It's just so.
All right. So, the if we have listeners that have been around a little while, I want to hear if these sorts of arguments were happening when like mechanical pencils came out. Oh, those mechanical pencils. No, I don't use those. Yeah. Anyway, I'm just wondering if we've had these arguments before in our profession from decades ago, right? But just. They're different things, different pieces.
Electric eraser.
What the hell is that?
What? How lazy do you have to be?
Yeah.
Right.
Electric eraser. Come on.
Exactly.
What, your hand's broken?
Drafting table. Right. We draw on the floor.
Exactly.
Drafting table.
Chair.
We draw on the wall.
Parallel bar? What do you need that for?
Erasing shield.
My T-square works just fine. Thank you very much.
Good stuff. That's a great way to bring it back. Yeah.
Exactly.
Just a little perspective here on everything. That's all. Just a little perspective. All right, guys, I think we should wrap this one up.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I'm done with my coffee anyway, so.
Let's thank the people that helped bring you the show here. Arcat, and this episode's also brought to you by BQE Core, and the music is by System Kid. And don't forget, you can subscribe to Archispeak on Apple Podcast or whichever podcast app you happen to use. And be sure to check out our archive at archispeakpodcast.com, where you can stream or download every episode we've ever released and find links to the articles referenced in each one. We can be found on Twitter, Facebook, or via email at archispeakpodcast.com. And thanks everyone for listening, and we'll catch you next time.
Peace out.
See ya.
That's my gangster sign off.
Drawing straws and pears, me hard. I'm caught in a phone booth on the beach. You reach for your gun. Do I watch or run, or will someone call 911? Please, you were everything I wanted. Went overboard. You beat your babies for needing you, still your hunger to conceive. A brand new pup might cuddle up, but he won't be enough. Your greed, I'm caught in a phone booth on the beach. You reach for your gun. Do I watch or run, or will someone call 911? Please, you were everything they needed and more. Oh, and everything was magic, but more went overboard. I hate the way that you lied to me. Still, I love you anyway, because you tell me every little thing's gonna be okay.